Yo, what's up guys, it's the Insane Game Freak here to bring you, I guess I won't, technically this could be a societal discussion, but I feel like it's just another relationship request video, so we'll just make those own things, like relationship talk videos. I don't know if I'll make that a series, but we'll just say relationship talk videos. Anyways, this is going to be on the single life. Let's go. So, the simple request actually comes from a female viewer of mine, which shocks the fuck out of me. I didn't think I had any of those. I say that, and I don't know how many... It's just one of those things where it's just like, wow, I'm surprised I have female subscribers and viewers. I know it... I think every guy realizes it's a thing that's there, but like in the back of your mind, you're just kind of like, I don't think it's that many. It's probably like 5 or 10. Especially when you start looking at your analytics. You're just like, hey look, it's like 90% male and like 10% female. You're like, I bet half of those are fucking troll accounts. Like, you don't believe none of that shit. Anyways, also, for those who have been sending me requests, I'm sorry about the late responses. The main reason why I've been giving late responses was purely because Google and YouTube decided not to notify me when they changed the location of the inbox. See, I found a custom link I could make to just take me directly to the inbox, and then to find out that, oh, the inbox has been moved into the community tab, which is under messages. And I'm like, well, fucking thanks, guys. That's obviously what I wanted you to do, is to change where it was and then not tell me. So if you got kind of like, oh, I haven't heard any responses, that's why. I apologize. It's mainly because I did not know where it was for like a month. And then I refound it. I'm like, fuck, I got like a whole bunch of requests. Probably should get to these, and this one is first. So anyways, she wanted to remain anonymous, so I'm just going to give you kind of a basic rundown of our current situation. She's 20 years old, 4 years in college. College? Yeah, college. She's kind of, the simple way of putting this is that she was just wondering how you deal with being single. The longer version is the fact that she has a Toradora situation, or specifically a Taiga and a Kitumura situation, meaning there was a guy that she was interested in, but he wasn't interested in her. No, actually, let me phrase that. The guy was interested in her, she blew him off, she later developed feelings for him, confessed her feelings, he friend-zoned her, and then got himself a new girlfriend. And so she's sitting over here friend zone, like, you know, she's moving on. She says in the message she's moving on, but it's something that irks her, which is the whole, and it irks probably a lot of us who are single. It irks us when you see everyone around you having either a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or being either engaged or at least dating or some shit, and you're the one sitting over here who has like very little dating experience and like is the only person single. I'm going to tell you straight up right now, that will never stop bothering you. As human beings, we've been taught since we were little that the ultimate goal is to get our dream job, not the best job, but our dream job, our personal dream jobs, make the amount of money that we think we need to survive, and to have a significant other to share it with and eventually create a family. So when you see other people who are together and you're still single, is going to bother you. The thing is, you got to find ways to cope with it, because a lot of people will tell you that, oh, well, you don't need somebody. Well, technically, yeah, you're right. You don't need somebody. Technically. Like, you won't die if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But at the same time, your goal is to get someone. So even if you don't need the person, the fact that you want to be with a person and fall in love and share your life with that person and develop a realistic relationship and have kids, or, you know, just be together at some point. The fact that you tell me I don't need this shit doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I hate when people tell me that shit, because I'm like, well, yes, I'm aware I don't need to be in a relationship. It's funny because I've said this before too. If anyone remembers in my old videos, I've said this before too, that you don't technically need someone. which is kind of a no shit situation. It's like, yeah, I know I don't technically need someone, but I want to be with someone. I want to have a family. I want to grow and build a family. You know, have kids and have a life, share a life together and some shit. So when people tell you it's like, oh, you don't need them. No, I know that. This isn't a need thing. This is a want. And some people feel like they do need them. You know, it all depends on personal preference. Now, from my personal experience, I've only had one girlfriend. One girlfriend. And that was when I was 18. And I only was with her for a year. Which then turned into us breaking up, me friend-zoning her, and then her particularly coming back and me being like, no, I'm not messing with that. That's all my experience in terms of dating. So I have not that much more experience than a girl who was 2 years older than when I was when I had my first girlfriend. Like, and I'm 3 years older than her. So, yeah, my track record isn't anything to brag about, nor would I brag about it anyway. So, in terms of dealing with the whole being by yourself and just, why would you, what being single kind of boils down to at this point in time, especially, and see, you hear this more for guys than you do for girls, so I find it interesting that I'm getting somewhat of a girl's insight to this situation. And please, ladies, video responses are always welcome, but the way guys gonna cope with it is that we just find other hobbies to drown ourselves in. Like for me, it's anime, manga, video games. I'm not saying that is like my escape from the reality I don't have a girlfriend. I'm not saying I obsess over it. But does it bother me sometimes? Yes. And if anything, you can think about it this way. Most of the relationships that you see people in nowadays aren't even going to last. And that's not me being it's somewhat of me being a pessimist. At the same time, realistically, a lot of those relationships don't last. To me, if you form a relationship in college or high school, I rarely see those last outside of college and high school. Most of those break up either after high school or after college. So, I know it may suck to see everyone around you be together. Realistically, they're not even going to stay together. And the funny thing is that you might be like, man, you're so jealous that they have someone to be with. At the same time, those people are dealing with fucking relationship problems, especially if they're not really that compatible with each other. The other thing you gotta understand is if you're kind of an eccentric person, like for me, I like anime, manga, and video games. I'm black. The type of girl I'm mainly into are black girls. I'm not saying I don't have interest in white or Asian or Latino or, you know, different races of women. Most of the girls I'm usually into are black. There aren't that many. I didn't even realize there were any black girls that were into like this kind of stuff until I got on the internet. The point is, there aren't that many black girls who are into this kind of stuff. So something you have to learn is that the more eccentric you are and the weirder you are, the less likely you're going to be in that many situations where you're going out with a girl on a consistent basis, or vice versa, or you going out with a guy on a consistent basis. Like, you're not going to be dating up a storm. That's the point I'm trying to make. Which to me is kind of a bonus because you get to filter out the bullshit. Problem is you're alone by a lot. But the good thing is when you finally do get into a dating situation with a person, you have a higher % chance of it working because you already know you and that person are weird. So the fact that that person is even fucking with you in the first place means they at least are already halfway there. The other half is just whether you two mesh in terms of personalities or whatnot. Being single when you don't want to be single sucks. You know, if you're single and you want to be single, it's not a big deal. But if you're a person whose goal in life is to, you know, get a wife or a husband, or at least be with someone, even if you guys don't care about getting married or anything, it sucks. And it never stops sucking. And it also just depends on how strong-willed you are and how you handle tough situations. I'm the kind of person that I can put up a facade good enough to pretend like certain things don't bother me, but I'm also the kind of person that for whatever reason it takes me longer to get over something than other people. You probably won't be able to tell unless you really know me, but I'm the kind of person that's the kind of guy I am. It's like things emotionally bother me more than what I'll let on, and that's mainly just because I don't know. That's just because I'm a sensitive guy, I guess. I don't fucking know. Blame my parents. I blame my mother for the way I act around certain things. And yeah, you can kind of grow, and I've grown to where it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. One is, it still bothers me, and the single thing isn't something like, I think every single person can feel your pain. I'm talking to the person who made the message that this video is for. That it will irk you. I think every single person has been irked by another person in a relationship. It's not even like they're trying to inherently hurt you or annoy you by being in a relationship, but the fact that they're in a relationship and talking to you about their relationship is going to get on your fucking nerves. even if they're not doing it with ill will in mind. Which means you'll probably come out of that conversation annoyed as fuck and not really understand why you're as annoyed as fuck as you are until a little bit later. I think some girls are just a lot more sensitive to that kind of stuff than guys are. Like for me, it doesn't really bug me to that extent. It'll bug me later. Like for example, I'll admit this, and a lot of people wouldn't even admit this much, but I'll admit this. I have an online dating site profile. I'm not going to say which site or where I'm at because I don't want to go through any of the bullshit that follows saying that. But I am on an online dating site. That's part of the way I cope. The other reason is just I don't let it bother me. To me, it's like if I don't have a person I'm interested in, it doesn't bother me to the extent as it does other people. And you know, you said you were moving on in your message, which means there probably isn't anyone else besides the guy that you're interested in who's there. And to me, going back to the friend zone video advice, I would say if you're still interested in the guy who friend zoned you, who currently has a girlfriend, I would say get away from that guy for a while. Because either one or two things will happen. Either one, you'll realize you're not as into him as you thought you were, or he'll realize he's into you. And even if that doesn't happen, it's a good clearing out experience. Like, you can tell how much you really care for a person when you get away from them for a while. Like, if you're still thinking about them and still kind of obsessing over them, and you've been away from them for like a good few months, you might actually have like a legit thing for them. But most of the time you kind of just chill out and you just kind of get over it. And that's because a lot of, you know, what she wanted me to title this video Unrequited Love, but I thought that was kind of a ridiculous term, particularly because that would imply that you've been around the person long enough to say that you love them. Most people haven't. To me, the real term should be Unrequited Lust. Unrequited Lust or Crush. One of those two. Because that's usually what it ends up being. Is that you just end up having a crush on the person, or you're just lusting after them. Being single doesn't, to me, suck as much as people say it is. I don't think it's a horrible experience. It's not something that I can't stand. But it will irk you. That's something you won't be able to avoid. As I said, if you're less sensitive than other people, you'll handle it better. But if you are relatively sensitive, kind of like I am, you find different ways to cope. For me, it's a mixture of still putting in effort, you know, to find someone, even if I'm not inherently interested in the girls around me. Because that's the other thing. If I'm not, see, for you, it might be because of the fact that you have a guy that you're interested in. But to me, as I said in the friend zone video, just take a break from that person. Like, don't even be, like, I know y'all are friends, but like, look, just be honest with him. Be like, look, I still like you to the point in which I still want to be with you, and you and your girlfriend are kind of emotionally fucking me up. So I'm going to be over here for a while, and it's nothing against you personally, but for me, it's just too much of an emotional strain to deal with this shit on a daily. So I'm just going to take a break from you. And to me, the best policy is to be honest with that shit. Because I know some girls want to lie and be like, oh, I'm sick or some shit, but like, then you end up stressing yourself out by trying to still be that good friend, while all the while you're just kind of like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to fucking be here. Can I go home? Can this bitch get out of my face? Like, you end up having a lot of aggression towards the girlfriend, and the girlfriend hasn't even done shit to you. Just because she's the girlfriend and you're not the girlfriend. You're just like, ugh. You haven't done anything wrong, but I still don't fucking like you. Like, that's the mentality you probably get from the girl not even trying to. Shit just kind of happens. That's why I say take a fucking break. My tips for if you're lonely, make a fucking online dating profile. It won't hurt you. If anything, it just is another way to cope. Or just, you know, do something constructive. You know, take all that extra energy you seem to have that you want to vent. Or find a friend who's also single or someone who would be willing to listen to you vent and vent to them. That's something I don't really mention too much. But yeah, shit. If you have a friend who you can tell straight up, like, look, I'm not here for advice. I'm not here for anything else. But if you have the time, can you listen to me bitch about being single for a little while? And if your friend knows that from Jump Street, some of them will do it. I don't have a problem doing it. I have a friend who does that to me. But she'll tell me straight up, it's like, listen, I need to vent about the single life. I'm like, alright, that's fine. Granted, I'm single too, so, you know, there's a camaraderie there anyway. Granted, I don't, and the funny thing is, I'm nowhere near as sensitive as my friend is, but, you know, I'm not going to go too far into that. But that's just kind of my thing. Find other things to do. It's going to bother you. Accept the fact that it's going to bother you. Do things to distract yourself. If you feel like an online dating site might help you get over it, then do that. It's all about finding ways to cope. There are different ways to cope, and each person is different. For me, that's what I do. I have no problem admitting it because realistically, there's no reason to hide that kind of shit. And if it helps you find a way of dealing with the situation that you're currently in, then yay, that means it was all for something. But anyways, and also, this is the fucking community. I have all these fucking subscribers. I know not all of you guys are married or fucking with somebody. Put down your ways of dealing with being single when it irks you during those times when you see all your friends dating somebody and you're by yourself. Put down your reasons to how you cope. Because then she can just fucking look at that pool of fucking suggestions and be like, yo, I have like a million things I can do. And then you can just kind of use and then save the shit as like a text document and then just check off a list every time you're feeling some type of way. Anyways, I hope that helps. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. If you want to see more of these, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, and also send me a request. I will look at them. I promise. Anyways, this has been the Insane Game Freak. That's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace off.